Before I was following Jesus, I was following the things of this world blindly, and also very ambitiously. I saw all these shiny things and the status and the pleasures, and I was all in. I was a young man in my early 20s, chasing these things of the world. And I eventually got to a point, you could say a breaking point, where I was like realizing just how dark this world actually is. The world where I was chasing all this pleasures and the status and these niceties, these things are within a dark, dark world. And I didn't like the darkness. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I called out to God, and Jesus revealed himself to me, the true living God, and I started following him right away. As soon as I realized that it was Jesus who is God, I started following him right away. And I didn't understand everything as I started following him. And of course, I still don't understand everything now, but I have a deeper understanding of God and myself and this world in which I live, to be able to understand that we live in an extremely dark world where there's a demonic running around causing mayhem. There's sinful nature within humans that cause pain, and there's a good God who is not changed even a little bit. He's remained good and true and faithful and just, and he's planted firmly as he is, and he asks us to do this one simple thing. We have to turn to him. He's always there. He was always there, even when I was rebelling and I didn't want anything to do with God. He was always there. And even when I'm drifting away and maybe perhaps going down a wrong path, he is always there. And I need to make that choice to step and to turn to follow him. See what he says to do. See what his commandments are, right? Love nobody and nothing above God. Keep him exalted at the highest, no matter what. Even if that means having to sacrifice some relationships, a job, some hobbies I used to like doing. I've had to, as I've walked following him, I've had to sacrifice things as I followed him. I'm commanded to love and forgive people who have done some mean things to me, some nasty things. I love them and I forgive them genuinely. I'm also allowed to have a very strong boundary and have nothing to do with those people, to depart from whatever they're doing. And, I hope that they can change, but at the end of the day, I know that God's ultimately in control, and he doesn't want me messing around with a bunch of wicked people. So I love people. I forgive those who have hurt me, but I also have a very strong boundary against those people as well. But I started following Jesus when things were so dark in 2020, when everything was kind of caving in, when this whole entire country was locked down, when this whole entire government was basically trying to get people to take a vaccine, or you couldn't get a job, or you couldn't, go back to school for those kids who were in school. Really forcing this experimental mRNA shot upon people, and seeing that, and I'm like, well, what's driving such a ludicrous, wicked scheme? Oh, there's evil in this world. And it's not just some abstract evil. No, it is a tangible, real evil that we can see and look around. And if we clearly see, we can see it. But this world wants to distract us with pleasures and niceties and a fabricated facade to kind of hide the evil. But once I started seeing it and that veil was lifted from my eyes, I could start seeing that, there's a lot of evil here. It's real, it's concrete. And it's not just out there, it's right here within, my own life, within people, and within myself. I wasn't such of a good person as I thought I was. I pursued truth and I pursued to do the right thing the best that I could. I knew I made mistakes as well, but I've consistently throughout my life, I have genuinely pursued truth and to do the right thing. Even though I made mistakes, I can say that assuredly about my own nature. But that's to God's glory. I still make a bunch of mistakes. Whatever I do, I still make a bunch of mistakes. I even have bad, thoughts in my head, right? I'm not a perfect man. But I do know that I have a nature that tends to want to pursue good and follow good. And in 2020 and before then, I thought everyone was kind of like that. I thought most people try to pursue good. And, they made mistakes, but they try to pursue good. But then I realized that there are people out here who pursue wickedness. As I pursue doing the right thing, there's people who pursue doing the wrong thing. And of course, they get crafty in how they hide it. They're not going to be outright obvious with it. I used to think that only the really bad people went to jail. And then I realized that those really bad people are within our society. And they can just, maybe they're not going to shoot and kill somebody, but they can inflict pain upon people through really nasty means. Whether it's someone that you're friends with, family with, dating, whomever. Evil knows no bounds. And I've learned that the hard way, as others have as well. But I'm here to communicate that into the ether to anyone watching this. If you have experienced some evil too from people who you thought you could trust, you're not alone. Joseph's own family, his brothers, sold him into slavery, right? Cain killed Abel. So throughout the scriptures, we do see that those who are closest to us can be some of our truest enemies. Jesus even tells us that our enemies will be that of our own household, right? So these are all truths that I've seen play out as I've walked following Jesus in my life. And I still, of course, love these people. I love people and I forgive them. But I'm also commanded to have nothing to do with those who pursue wickedness, but to depart from them, pursue righteousness, pursue good. So I do that. But 2020, I started really seeing just how twisted and messed up this world is, and that I was like, all these niceties that I was chasing, the fame, the fortune, the pleasures, I was chasing all these things in a dark world. And once I realized that this world was dark, I'm like, well, what's the point? I want to chase the light. I want to chase what's good in this world. I want to seek, Jesus. I want to seek Jesus. So, as we can see here, this world is chaotic and noisy and messy and dirty and decaying. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, why would I want to try to exalt myself here in this decaying world when I can live and humble myself before a true and holy God and let Him work through my life? So I made that choice back in 2020, and I've been following Him ever since. And you hear the cliches, there's the mountaintops and the valleys, and God takes us through them all. And it refines us. It helps us understand His character. It helps us understand our own nature and just how much we need Him to navigate this world. Right? I used to kind of think I could handle things on my own. And I'm still a bit headstrong in the way that I approach life. But I do know that I can do nothing apart from Jesus. Nothing. I am nothing without Jesus. I'm a weak man. I'm bound to just perish. I came from dust, I'll return to dust. Right? This body here is not going to last forever. So I'm very tuned into that. And my strength only comes from Jesus. Everything that I do that's good, it comes from Him. Apart from Him, I don't have anything good. I've seen grace throughout my life. Jesus He had my back even before I called out to Him in 2020. I've gotten myself into some really sticky situations with drugs and drinking and all that type of stuff, where I've by all accounts, should not be alive. Like, I've gotten myself in some really nasty situations where I see God's grace even before I made that choice to follow him. So that's something that I wrestle with and try to, work out and understand. But it's beyond my comprehension. His grace was shown even before I've decided to follow him. And I'm like, well, why didn't I just die like somebody else did? Right? You could say, well, I know a friend who passed away, and well, what makes you different? I don't know. I'm not here saying that I have the answers, that I'm this or I'm that. But I do see God's grace, and I can't understand his plans. I don't understand why this person is chosen and not that one. I can't tell you these things, but I can tell you to simply turn from your sin, follow Jesus, and he will make the difference. If you're tired of this darkness, Jesus is the only light. You go searching for God, you go searching for the truth, and you will find Jesus. So it's 2026. It's about 6 years or so since I've first started following Jesus, and there's been a lot of things that have happened since. My walk following Jesus has been nothing like I'd imagined it would be. It wasn't just a simple prayer and that was that. It's been a daily, continual walk with blessings and mountaintop, experiences, and really nasty trials where God has refined me and he's isolated me and he kept me kind of confined just to himself so he could really work in me and help me understand things a little bit deeper. So it's been a continuous journey. I'm so thankful for it. There's no other way I could possibly live. He is literal life. Without him, I'm a dead man walking. Even without his spirit, I'd be a dead man walking. So I share these truths to lay some cards on the table that perhaps someone else could connect with and say, oh, I know what that's like, and I've been there too. And to try to ultimately funnel this down into the truth, which is that Jesus is the truth, that he's Lord, that he's God, that by his strength I can come out here with a camera and do anything like this. By his strength I'm here in New York. The journey to get here was a bit of a grueling journey. Now, I'm not going to get into that right now, but the fact that I'm planted here in New York is a miracle. I shouldn't be here. There's many people who want my voice silenced and who want me not broadcasting truths from the middle of the most well-respected city on this earth. But here I am, by God's grace, doing it. All the glory belongs to him. He gives me the strength to come out here and do these things. And he carved a way forward. Like he carved a way forward for the Israelites to leave Egypt, he carved a way forward for me to leave a very nasty place in which I used to live to come to New York. And I'm very thankful for it. So I wanted to share a bit about what's led me up into this point, who I am, my backstory, what's kind of drove me to following Jesus. Why am I out here, so consistently in my black attire, always talking about Jesus? Because he's done a lot in my life. He's done a whole lot in my life, and that's all I have to live for at this point is Jesus. To live is Christ, to die is gain. So I've experienced a lot up to this point, and by God's grace, I'll experience some more life as well. But right now, I'm thankful to just be continually spreading the gospel through these videos on the streets with these lovely people. This is only a fraction of what I'm doing out here. These videos, because the thing clicks off and all of a sudden we're engaged with these people and then with this world around us, trying to share that light, share that truth that this world is dark. You need to turn and follow Jesus to have life. So thanks for tuning in and watching this one. Get a little bit more of a backstory of who I am, why I'm out here doing what I'm doing, and why I so passionately love Jesus.